Hey everyone, another sewing year has passed, and in today's video I will look back on my year and reflect about things like what were my biggest challenging, the successes, the biggest aha moment, and what exactly was the best new tool that I got in 2018. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Best new tool. In fact, this might not actually have been a tool that I bought in 2018. If memory serves me right, I might have bought it in the end of 2017, but I didn't understand the brilliance of this tool until this year, so I definitely feel that's why it deserves its reward. And what tool am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about this. It's a magnifying lamp. Do you have one of those? Oh, they're so great. You know, you lift the lid, and you look inside, perhaps you'll just see a big eye of mine now. Now, this perhaps has been the single thing that has improved my ability to stitch straight in this last year. It's also super helpful when it comes to threading the needles and all those things that, well, it hasn't got easier with age, if we say so. If you haven't got one of those already, I highly recommend. Mine is from Prim. I will see if I can link to it in the description section. I'm sure other brands do this well, and to be honest, I think it's pretty much the same type of lamp that you will see at the dentist office and other type of institutions. So it's probably lots of different lamps that are available that has a similar built up. And I also love that it gives great light, but especially I love the magnifying. Oh, I mean, it just opened a whole new world to me. So definitely my favorite best sewing tool of this year. My biggest achievement. And to be honest, I don't really see much of a competition when it comes to my biggest accomplishment when it comes to sewing of this year, and that is making the tailor jacket. I've talked about this before. If you can check out my videos where I show all the insides of making the jacket, and the pattern is from Burda style, and it has lots of really nice detailing, and I'm very happy how I actually managed to pull it off. It definitely took a lot of time, a lot of late nights, but overall it was totally worth it, and it definitely gave me the confidence to say that I now feel that I can actually pull off doing more tailored garments in the future, and that's been a great confidence boost. Plus, I really enjoyed making this jacket. I definitely didn't feel any burnout of that, which I sometimes do when I'm making those time-consuming projects. In fact, I just love the process of this one, so definitely my biggest accomplishment of 2018. My biggest sewing struggle. I went back and forth about this because I felt I had quite a few struggles, but the one that really stood out, all things considered, was making this. It's the running dress that I did for my half marathon that I did in May of 2018, and obviously it looks quite simple, and in some ways I guess you could say it is, but the fabric was an absolute beast to sew. It's a merino fabric, which is a wicking performance fabric, and it's really soft and drapey, and I had a lot of different struggles trying to make the basically the finishing look the way I wanted, and I'm still not 100% happy about it because it just was too much of a struggle working with this fabric. So even though, as I said, the end result is fine, I definitely felt that the process could have been much more enjoyable. And I'm wearing the dress again when I'm doing a half marathon in 2019, so it definitely wasn't a wasted effort, and I learned tons from the project, but I still wish that I picked a fabric that was much easier to work with when I did this type of style of dress with lots of panels and just a lot of things going on, and that doesn't really work well with that sort of fabric. The biggest aha moment. The biggest aha moment of 2018 is that I really need to follow my own advice of letting the fabric decide which type of patterns and which type of techniques I'm using. Every time I try to force a pattern or a technique onto a fabric that won't cooperate, well, it just ends up being quite messy. And I had one of those situations, and again, it was actually the same type of fabric which I bought in several colorways that I did for the running dress. I also made a workout top from that, and it was a beast to hem because it just sort of got drag lines and tunneling, even though I did lots of different experiments with the settings of my cover stitch machine. And I have a video where I talk about 5 tips for sewing minutes, and one of those tips is that some fabrics are simply not meant to be hemmed, and I should have definitely followed that advice from my own video and thought about that. And I'm happy to report that after some soul searching, I actually followed my advice. So I did a second top using the same fabric, and this time I was much smarter about it, because as you can see, no hemming, just cuffs. And this project worked out really, really well. I love the finishing of this workout top, and I was able to stitch down the seams using the cover stitch machine, because instead of trying to hem it, I used the cover stitch machine for just stitching down the seams, which worked out beautifully. So I feel now I'm a little bit revenge. I got a little bit of revenge when it comes to fighting with this fabric, and I do have more fabrics left, and now I think I have a more clear insight when it comes to the sort of approach that I need to take working with this very soft merino fabric. Biggest payoff. I've talked about this previously several times, but in the last few years I've been using an approach that is called mindful practice when it comes to my sewing. And it's a concept basically that means that when you're doing something, it's very important to be focused, and that can take various expressions. One, for instance, that I've applied when it comes to sewing is that I always do samples now. I test things out. I'm very systematic when it comes to trying out the right settings, all this stuff. So once I actually start sewing on the garment, I'm very prepared in that sense. And the second part that comes with this is when I'm sewing, I'm very focused, which means that I can not perhaps sew as much in one sitting, but I try to keep my focus a lot. And I find that when I get into that zone, I've definitely noticed how my sewing skills has improved. And I am happy to report that after trying this method for several years now, and I've talked a lot more details into other videos that I've done before, and I will link to those so you can check them out and see if this is a method that you're interested in trying out. But the biggest payoff for me is that I feel now what a difference it has made. And as I'm doing now, working on my cover stitch book, and obviously when you're doing a book, the samples need to be top notch, because obviously they should be inspirational and also showing what you can achieve using the techniques. And I've noticed that I get in such a hyper-focused zone that I really can see that the quality of my work has improved immensely, and that is definitely a result of applying these practices that I've talked about. So I definitely feel that, you know, my shift in approach has finally paid off. So that's one of the things that I feel really, really psyched about, and I know that I will keep on employing this, because obviously there are always new things to learn. But I do feel that my sewing skills, my techniques, that have taken a huge leap in the last few years. Most valuable place. And that is you guys. I am so grateful for having your support. I love reading your comments, your suggestions. You have also directed me to several wonderful resources that has expanded my sewing knowledge, and all those things keeps me motivated to keep doing this video, because let me tell you, it's quite a lot of work. And I've in fact managed to make one weekly video now for over 2 years, and that is no small feat. Let me tell you, there are some weeks I have no idea how I pull it off, but somehow I do. And that is because I feel so motivated by all the feedback that I'm getting from these videos and having this conversation about sewing with you guys. Because I've obviously taken on a little bit of a different approach when it comes to videos, because I also like to address, you know, the mind setting stuff when it also comes to sewing, not just sharing my favorite techniques. And I've gotten such great response about that. So I do feel that we have like a very ongoing, engaging conversation about this, and that also goes into the live streams I'm doing once a month, that we have this wonderful community and we all exchange experience and encourage each other, and all those things are so wonderful. So the community aspect of making these videos is huge for me, and I don't like to create things in a vacuum. So I'm super grateful for your support, and that's why I want to give you a big thank you for hanging around with me and participating in all the conversation that we have around sewing. Thank you so much. Anyways, these were my top 6 things that happened in 2018. Thank you so much for following me along and watching my videos. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.